What's up, fellas? My name is Garrett McLaughlin. I'm the special teams coordinator, defensive line coach at Bates College. Really appreciate Coach giving me the opportunity to get on this thing. I think like a lot of people, I've been really active trying to develop professionally during this wacky time. The ability to be able to give back and hopefully give you something here that we do at Bates that can help you out is a pretty cool deal. So what I'm going to bring you through today is our kickoff. Kind of start with how we teach the fundamentals of that and the mindset of that, and then actually go to the schematics of how we set everything up. First and foremost, and something that I really believe in is we give a big three for all of our special teams units. So that puts something in our guys' brains to where they know they can be successful. Kind of no matter the position you're playing. I think especially for special teams, to be able to have a checklist, a mantra, whatever you want to call it, that gives guys those parameters of what we're looking for as a coach are really important, because you don't know when you get 2 injuries during a game and all of a sudden you're down to your third string guy in a spot who hasn't had a ton of chance to rep it. Or, you don't have as much of an opportunity to coach a guy through something that you want. Having these buzzwords that you can go to really quickly and that they can use consistently and repetitively, I think is really big. I really like grouping things in threes as well, because I think from an educational standpoint, it allows you guys to have much better retention as you go through it. So literally when we talk kickoff, in a meeting format or anything like that, I hold my fist up. We talk about fourth down mentality. Fist, equates to the referee signal for fourth down. I say, what's the kickoff big three? Put my thumb out. Speed, squeeze, and violence. Speed, when we're getting out of the blocks, we want to be fast down the field. Okay. Obviously, the faster we get there, the more we can limit yardage. We want to put pressure on the kickoff return team. Squeeze is we always want to compress to the ball. Make sure that we get as many guys on that football as we can while maintaining good leverage. And then violence on the finish. We want to be extremely physical finishers on this unit, whether it's getting off a block or it's putting the ball carrier on the ground hard. And then another thing that I talk a lot about that I think carries over to all special teams and really all football are our rules of engagement. So essentially, anytime that we come in contact with an opposing player, these are our guidelines for winning that contact. Hairline to chin is basically saying low pad level. I like actually having the key of hairline to chin because that gives the guy a more specific idea of where you want to be. So my hairline to his chin is where we want to get to. Moving feet, running feet equals violence on contact. So we want to be moving our feet anytime we contact a guy. And then tight hands for any type of strikes, any type of blocks. So we all understand that there are a little bit of different fundamentals that come to teaching different things within the game. But I think this stuff all carries over really consistently in terms of when you're making contact with a guy. You're making a block, you want hairline to chin, you want your feet moving, you want tight hands through it. You're making a tackle, same thing. If you're a ball carrier, you want to be lower than the opposing man. You want to be running your feet through contact. And with your ball security, you want tight hands on that, right? So, these, again, are really easy keys, easy buzzwords that we can communicate very quickly and effectively with the guys that we're coaching. I think is really important, and especially when you talk about a play that is as physical and, again, has to end with the kind of violence that a kickoff does in order to be successful. I think it's really good to continue to hammer those points home with your guys. So as we talk about it, when we split up the big three, we want to use it as much as possible. Again, repetition is the mother of all learning. So we're going to really hammer those things home. So for us, it's the speed zone right at the beginning. We want to get to full speed by the time the kicker kicks the football, and we'll show you how we drill that in a second. Squeeze zone. So that's when we aren't close to the ball yet. We want to really compress hard to the ball, again, keeping the ball on our leverage based on position. We'll go through that when we get more into the scheme stuff. And then the violence zone. When we're within 10 yards of the ball, we got to be violent. Squeeze zone, your speed avoid. You're going to work around blocks and try to maintain that speed to get to the ball. Once you're in the violence zone, all right, Now it becomes punch, two gap, get off, and put the ball on the ground hard. So this, as we go through drill work here, this is the first drill that we do, and this is just the takeoff. So this is the first time we do it, okay? You can see across the line here, everybody outside foot up, wide receiver stance. In my opinion, this creates a better chance at a great get off as you go here. Everybody eyes on the kicker once he passes that line that we're all on here. And in our league, we're the NESCAC, we're the Little Ivy, so similar to the Ivy League, we kick off from the 40. So everybody's front toe is on the 35-yard line, and once the kicker gets to them, they sprint. Everybody's a little bit different, right, in terms of their twitch and their speed. So this is really good, too, for the guys to be able to determine, okay, at what point in the kicker's approach do I hit it full speed? We just have them sprint through the 50 so we can get that full get off. And again, I think that's really, really big for us to be able to teach all our guys how to hit that line at full speed and be in top gear as they're getting down the field. Here's another look at it right here. Again, this is the first day, right? Don't love oh boy in the green right here, but really like this. Number 5, closest to the kicker here. Love the way he gets off the ball. That's really, really good. And I think we got a lot better with that as the year went on. So this is how we set up our circuit on the kickoff side. We'll have 3 groups going, but 4 stations. I really like that because it allows, a couple of coaches to be roamers and help out at different drills. I typically, GM, that's me, I typically put myself off for the first rotation. As a special teams coordinator, I like that because it helps me make sure all the other drills are set up and kind of quality control them the first time through. I'm really fortunate. I have some awesome coaches who work with me on special teams who are really, really good, so I don't have to worry about that as much, but just gives me ease of mind going through it. So the other thing that I think is really important, again, we talked about our big 3, and we try to tie that in to everything that we do. So we have 2 violence drills, which is our punch and snatch, and our roll tackle. And then we have 2 squeeze drills, which is our speed avoid and our edge turn. So our guys understand when they go through these drills, they know what the point is, what we're trying to accomplish every time we do one of these. So it all kind of ties in with what we're doing here. So this is the edge turn. I think this is a really, really great drill. Have one guy acting as a blocker with a pad or without, if you have players, obviously, you can do it without the pad, but he's leaning in, he's giving pressure. The guy has to get the feel for running the edge and getting back around and then tagging off on a ball carrier. Apologies, not the greatest camera angle here, but this is what we got to work with. This is a really good job by the partner, right? Want to make sure he's not a squid. Make sure he's really giving resistance there as you're running and then chase to get back inside. So number 24 right here gives a great example of it. So we're coming down, and again, great speed. And then he's coming in from the top of your screen right here. Again, leaning hard against that blocker, leaning in. Doesn't make the tackle, but does have a productive miss. Hurts the ball carrier's ability to get north and south. We talk a lot about productive misses on this unit too. Like, we're willing to take a shot and miss it if it's violent and if it's on our leverage. And this is a great example of that, right? Doesn't make the tackle, but makes the guy turn his body completely, stop his feet, makes it easy for the rest of our pursuit to be able to get in there and make a tackle. Don't be afraid of a missed tackle. If it's on your leverage, if you do so violently and aggressively, we'll be able to get the rest of our guys to the ball to make the play on it. So this isn't us doing it. I promise that we actually do this drill. But this is our speed avoid, okay? So as we come down, the one difference that we'll do from this team here is myself as the coach will be here. As they're running down, I'm going to be back here, and I'm going to give them a direction either this way with my shoulders or this way. We avoid to the ball. We don't talk in terms of avoiding butt side. So if I point my shoulders this way, the players are going to avoid to the same side that I turn. And then we want to see them stack back on the line to make it so that that blocker can't wheel on us, can't widen us, is forced to, if he turns back, is going to block us in the back. So you can see that drill in action right here. That's why I like doing it horizontally on the field like this. So they have the lines and they have the visual of getting back and stacking right back on the line. And we rapid fire it just like this. Same type of setup, 3 lines going, all that stuff. All right, here's a good example of it. And actually on the clip for the next drill, we'll get an even better one. We're watching him right here that I just circled. He comes down, ball declares this way, stick our foot, get back over the top, make the play. Really good aggressive tackle there. This next one is our punch snatch. So this is now in the violence zone. We're within 10 yards of the ball. We got to be able to physically get off of a block. So you can see right here, you have the guys holding the bags. I'm really big on making them hold bags underneath here for any type of drill for 2 reasons. Don't like when they loop their hands through and then it ends up flopping all over the place. Doesn't give you a really realistic surface to strike and hit. The other part is when we teach them to snatch off, now it gives the defensive player, the guy who's going, the ability to really throw that. And like this guy on the right is doing a pretty good job of that. He punches and throws it down. We want it to be violent. We want, as that bag hits the ground, those little rubber pellets to come up out of the turf. So there's the punch, snatch, and then both guys leverage the ball on their inside shoulder for the finish tag off. Here's another example. You can see we have a ball carrier in the middle here. The coach sends them one way or another. And again, the players have to react off of the ball carrier. So here it is in game action. We're going to be watching our 6 right here. Comes on the field, punch. And again, he delivers it violently enough that he doesn't even have to snatch. So if you can do that, good on you. But again, as we talked about in the beginning of the presentation, hairline to chin, moving feet, tight hands as he knocks that guy down. Here's a really good example of the speed avoid right here. So as he comes down, hits him with a little move, and then stacks him right on his back. Forces him into a position where he has to choose to block in the back or let him make the play or just watch him miss the tackle. But good example of the speed avoid and what we're looking for with that move. The other thing, too, that I think I failed to mention on the speed avoid, we want to give a good head fake with it, too. I always talk about, think about yourself being a ball carrier and making that defender miss. Cross him up, give him a move. So he gives a little bit here to stick him back on his leverage and then being able to put him on his back and go and put himself in position to make the play. So now finally for our tackling stuff, and we have a variety of tackling drills. We actually or my head coach gives me 5 minutes to work on, whatever I'd like on a Tuesday, special teams wise. And honestly, I always go with tackling. It's one of the skills that translates to multiple special teams units, right? Obviously, that's a big factor in being successful on your punt unit as well. So really like being able to emphasize our guys being sound tacklers on special teams. So this is a big part of what we do in addition to doing it during the circuit work. So right here, I'll bring you through, kind of the progression of our roll tackle drills. So first one here, we start on one knee, the leg to the bag is up. you can see partners, they're given a target on here. It should actually be a little bit higher. We talk about mid-thigh board. If we shoot on the knee, that gives the guy a chance to hurdle, high step above us. If we shoot on the hip, that's where he's strongest. We're most likely to bounce off. We want to shoot right for the mid-thigh board here. And we want to roll off that front foot and land on the bag. At the beginning of this progression, and, we want to crawl, walk, jog, and then sprint in terms of how we teach it. So this is crawling. It's a 2-whistle drill. First whistle, we want to see them strike violently through the bag, squeeze it. Second whistle, they violently gator roll out of it. They want to always roll towards their leverage or towards the side that their head hit. Towards the side that their head was to the side of. We're going to talk about hitting with their head. Punch, roll. There you go. Here's that drill again. Like I said, I told you we actually did do the speed avoid. Just didn't get it on camera this year, unfortunately. But there is again. Now it's off one whistle. So land on top and roll. We kind of have good example, not great example, terrible example, right? Nice and low, punch, land, violently roll. Don't like them rolling early on this. Want to land, then roll. Then we go from 1 foot, all one motion. Here's another example of it. Really love it when you can get them all synced up like this, right? Kind of cool. And then to work on actually tracking a ball carrier, we put them 5 yards away. And I like using these pool noodles to simulate this tackle. Without having to spend a ton of money on equipment, you can go to the dollar store, get a few pool noodles, tie them together. And what this does for you is it creates the illusion of flapping legs, right? And it makes them have to wrap around 2 different things. So really like what 9 is doing over here on the right. Good job tracking it, inside out on it. Drive, wrap, roll. Here's another example here. One thing to watch out for, don't make sure you're coaching them to not brace their arms coming down through. We want to wrap both arms through the tackle, like 30 is doing on the left. 5 is good except for the brace there. Make sure we're wrapping as we come through that. The other one that we'll teach, kind of in addition, is the touchdown saving tackle here. So when you swipe, so when you're way out of leverage and he's running away from you, how can you still give yourself a chance to make a tackle? What we talk about is aim for the top of his shoelaces, for the top of the shoelaces of the near shoe. As you run, drive with your near arm, and then as we come through, we want to land on our back. That'll allow us to get full extension through on the tap. There's an example of us really there. So you see, I think 36, who's over here on the right, can't tell the number. I don't like that he's up off his knees. We want him to be on their knees. But they're pushing themselves to really see how far, they can launch themselves and still make this tackle. And then finally, another version of it. Obviously, that first guy was terrible. This is something that we need to do more of because you can see how bad we are at it. But I think kind of went too late in the year because we saw a deficiency in our team being able to track well. So did this drill. It's very simple. I'm sure a lot of you guys out here do a similar type of drill. So this is just for tracking the back shoulder or back hip rather. Obviously don't like that one. This is better. And I talk about a reverse Nike swoosh coming through here. So right here and then swoosh up at the end. We want this guy. The one thing I don't like about the partner, he should be changing speed a little bit more, make that guy have to square up and stand that back hip and really challenge him to do so. I think this next clip, this is a good example of what we want from our partner here, and not bad by the guy who's going either. Go really fast and then over-exaggerate how slow you go. Make him stay square, make him stay in leverage. That's a good job by both of those guys. So we're going to work that one a lot more next year and make sure that we're really, really good at that. So the last one, last drill that we do, and last one that I'll show you here, is our full field cover. I think it's really important to give them the feel for what it's going to be like to actually run the whole way down the field and make a tackle at the end of it. We try to limit how much of this that we do. You don't want to tax your guys' legs too much, but at some point you guys got to give them the feel for doing it. So it basically combines all the drills that we showed before. You run, speed avoid, take one way, take the other, come to the shields, lock out, snatch, and then we'll have a gator roll tackle to finish that. So here it is right here. And they're just cones here for the speed avoid one way, speed avoid the other. Really pushing to be full speed through this. Then you punch, lock out, snatch, give the ball carriers a direction. And you can see, I know it's a little bit zoomed out. You can see those guys have those pool noodles down behind them so you can practice that tackle. Length of the field is a little over 50 yards. That's about what their sprint will be coming down to cover a kickoff. So, I think this guy gives the guys a really realistic feel for, what that's going to be like on a game day, or at least more realistic than your typical drill. And again, just rapid fire them. We'll try to get each guy 3 reps going through this. Again, not to kill them and make sure you guys aren't guessing on the side of the ball carrier, but to give them that good feel of where they got to get to and how they got to do it. All right, talking specifically through what our assignments are on kickoff. The way that we do our kickoff scheme, and it's pretty basic, but it's very sound, and it's really based in defensive football, which is my background, is we will assign a kick side. So we'll say left, deep left is this example. So left indicates that we're going to start counting with 1 to our left and then work all the way over to 10. Deep left is telling us where we're kicking it. So we'll always put the same guys to the kick side. If we were going to go right, deep right, ball will be on this hash. 1 would be the first guy over here. 10 would be the last guy in here, and so on in the middle with it. As we go through, our assignments for our guys are really, I don't want to say mirrored all the way across, but are very similar across the field. So our 1 and our 10, we call our hitmen. A lot of people would refer to those as safeties. I prefer a little bit more of an aggressive term, right? We're the fold players. We're coming in and making everybody right. Those guys are most similar to your cover 4 safeties, and those are the guys who I like playing those positions are your cover 4. Opposite, the return side. He now becomes your all 21 player, so he should have all the other 21 players on the field in his vision. He's still squeezing aggressively to the ball, but he should be alert for anything sneaking over here for a reverse, for a throwback, anything of that nature. He's your type of player that is going to help prevent that. Your 2s and your 9s are the kings of the edge. So they will be setting edges violently with their inside shoulder. Again, I don't like using the term contain player because I think that makes the guys play a little more passively. They end up melting towards the sideline, right? Ball gets hit up inside them, and they're standing over here, and you ask them, "What are you doing?" And they said, "Well, we have contain." No, we set edges. So to the return side, if this is a return side, we have to set the edge no wider than the bottom of the numbers. Keep everything on our inside shoulder and force it back to help. If you're the backside, king of the edge, so the return's going away from you, now you're trying to trim fat off the outside of that while still keeping any kickouts on your inside shoulder. 3 and the 4 are heavy on the ball. They're splitting doubles. They're still leveraging things on their inside shoulder. Again, these are the guys who are most likely going to get doubles. So we want big, strong inside linebackers, D linemen who can run well, sometimes fullback, sometimes tight end. Excuse me, I didn't mention 2s and the 9s, looking for ideally athletic outside linebackers. Those are your guys who are most used to setting edges. The 5 and the 7 are our bullets. They're directly to the ball. They are trying to, if the ball's going vertical, they're trying to spill it. They're trying to get across his face, make it change directions if we aren't making the tackle on it, obviously. Same thing with a 5. They're your fastest, most aggressive players. They're your guys who you think can go down and get it. Our 6 is our linebacker. He's kind of almost our extra safety. So I won't tell the guy that because I want him running as hard as he can, but he's generally a slower inside linebacker and a guy who's used to scraping and getting over the top of stuff. He plays the ball on the leverage that it declares. So if the ball goes this way, he's playing it on his left shoulder. If the ball goes all the way this way, he's playing it on his right shoulder. 8 is your chase. So he's just working hard to chase it down from behind. Again, keeping on his inside shoulder. If the ball comes this way, then he's setting an edge, keeping it inside. Kicker is kind of your ultimate safety. I will use safety with him. Get the ball in the alley. Again, this is our ideal location. Truthfully, we'd rather have it in the end zone. But if he doesn't get it there, in the alley between the numbers and the hash, and he's mirroring the ball, if it splits, he's the guy who takes care of the worst case scenario. So as we go through, we'll just show you some of our good ones, our teach tape from this season. So on this one, we're looking at our king of the edge. We're also looking at this guy right here. Really good job. That's how physical we want to be going into blocks. And the heavies, they get a little more leeway to make that contact early. And the other thing too is, if they have doubt about whether they should speed avoid or be violent on that block, be violent on it, knock it down. The other guy here, our king of the edge, is really, really good. Again, we say bottom of the numbers, but if you can get it done earlier, get it done earlier. And the other thing is that we're relating to the ball, not the blocker. So as long as he keeps that ball on his inside shoulder, we're good. Even though this guy has outside leverage, that ball ain't cutting back out here. Good job for him to go in, make that play. One time from the end zone here. The one thing I don't like from our guys, we should be squeezing way, way more aggressively here, especially with none of their blockers out here. Pretty clear indicator that they're taking it back to our right. So squeeze a lot harder. This was our first game this year. This was my first time coaching them on kickoff. We got better with that as the year went, but not good enough in that instance. But again, really like the way that he sets the edge, keeps the ball on his inside, makes the one-arm tear tackle right there. Now we're right deep right. Again, when we flip our personnel on this deal. And nice job by who now becomes our backside king of the edge. You get the speed avoid there. Keep the ball on the inside, make it cut up. Backside hitman here. Squeezes to the ball. And again, we could do a better job making this tackle, right? Keep his inside foot underneath him, straight through the thigh, all that stuff. But what he does do is he aggressively attempts a tackle on his leverage and he forces it back to our help. And the last guy we're watching here is our linebacker, our stack linebacker here. Again, he's naturally a little bit of a slower guy than the rest of the guys in this unit. Sees where the ball declares, works his way over the top, along with a couple of our other players, are able to put the ball on the ground after our hitman makes that aggressive move to hit the ball. See one time from the end zone here. All right, this one, we're going to watch the hitman. Once we actually get to the kick. So right here, really good job folding. We say that he wants to have a 7-yard relationship between these guys and himself. So he should fold back after sprinting and being on the same level through the 50. He just gears down and folds back. Good job by him. Folding in, making the other guys right, able to make the tackle on his inside shoulder. That guy runs into his leverage. That's the way we want to make that tackle. Really good job by him on that one. This one here, we see again the heavy. It's awesome here. Comes down really violently, sets the edge. Guys, nowhere to run. We're compressing it. What I don't like is we could do a little better job squeezing here. And certainly over here, he should be much tighter to that. But our backside hitman does an awesome job. Again, everybody on the field's over here. So you can compress back down in fast. To go ahead and put that ball on the ground on the 21-yard line. Again, don't like using the term our safety form because we wanted to play aggressive like this. Go and get to the ball, go and make the play. So here we're watching 19. Again, don't love the way he takes on this block, but again, relate to the ball and punches it in. Creates the edge nice and tight. See our hitman, really good job making him right here. And also love the way they finish his tackle. The other thing I want you to watch is this is awesome play by our bullet, I think right here. Yeah, great speed, great bend. And again, taking a shot. Having a productive miss, making the guy stop his feet, change direction, and now the cavalry can get there and make the play. One time from the tight for you guys. So you guys get the idea. All right, couple little games that we'll play with our kickoff. So we'll call it 5 hitman. So we adjust our alignments. We just simply move our number 1 to our number 5 position. Bump everybody else down 1. After the ball's kicked, now the 2, 3, 4, 5 squeeze into their normal assignments. And then the 1 folds over the top to become a hitman from the other side. So this is a really good changeup if you know they're not blocking your hitman or your safety coming down, like this team that we played here. So we made this adjustment. And again, have them fold over the top. Want these guys running harder down the field here. But they ended up not blocking our king of the edge because they assumed he was a safety. We had the number 1 be our hitman the whole year. So they'd assumed he was a safety, left him go. We were able to make a big play and knock him down inside the 10. Not the world's best end zone film there, so we can see it again. Obviously, it helps when the returner kicks the ball around a little bit back there. But you get the idea of what we were able to do with that. Good job here as well by one of our bullets. You can see a really nice speed avoid and then spill the ball, make it go back to where it was coming from. All right, another game. So we'll number our twists so they know. First number is the first guy going. Second number is the second guy going. So one that we used last year was a 3-4 twist. Take off just like normal. And then once we got to the opposite 40, or we would change it sometimes based on game plan. We really like doing this to mess with double teams. So we would do this planned off where the double teams occurred, how they occurred. Twist tight and then get back vertically. Another one that we did is a 7-8 fold, especially if we had a really good idea where the opposing team was going to bring their kickoff return. We would fold the 8 back behind the 7 and almost have them become an extra safety, scrape over the top for it. So here's a really good example of it. So you see we had the twist and the fold on the same one. Twist is happening over here. You'll see the fold back over here. So again, as it goes, there's the twist. They get back up vertical. Would like to see him, especially number 45 right here, get more vertical to it. He kind of chases his tail and gets pushed by the ball there. But what's really good is on this fold, he's able to get back over the top. He's the guy they don't account for in their blocking scheme. Really, he gets lost in the sauce a little bit, able to come out and makes a nice roll tackle for us there. Okay, so another drill that I like to do to really be able to work this, both from a kickoff and kickoff return standpoint, is our tube drill. And I think finding some ways to get your guys to compete is really, really important. I've been a part of places where we would just do, a bunch of circuit drills, do, a game week worth of drills versus scouts, and then expect our guys to be able to go out and execute. I just really don't think that's real without having like true reps versus guys who are really going hard and competing, which I don't think you get versus a scout team. You need to find a way to be able to go good on good in special teams. It's really, really hard 11 on 11 too, right? Because probably some of your best kickoff return guys are going to be some of your best kickoff guys. So how do you break that up? For me, I like doing it in small groups like these 3-on-3 drills. So, you guys see the diagram. I think it's a little bit easier if we just talk you through from a film standpoint. So we put these guys right in the field. Cones are 7 yards apart. Obviously, here are your kickoff return guys. Put the kickoff guys with beanies on back here. All right, one returner, we're working between the hash for this one. So these are your frontline droppers on kickoff return. These are your kind of backside guys for kickoff. We have them drop, tell them not to take a leverage. They shouldn't drop this much, but again, getting the feel for that is part of what we're working in this drill. And then to just be able to block these guys. We don't want guys going to the ground, but sometimes that happens. So being able to work, again, getting off those frontline blocks for our kickoff guys, being able to leverage the ball, and then same thing for our kickoff return, being able to make a block. And then also see which returners are willing to hit it up in there, who has some type of instinct to them, and what kind of guys will be able to make a difference for us in there. So that's obviously a win for kickoff. Here's what a win for kickoff return looks like here. It's coming up. There you go. Good cut by the returner. Kickoff return players were able to find a way to make some kind of block. And again, this is really good teach tape. And I think, this meeting after doing this stuff, we have a similar type of one for punt and punt return is our best meeting of the year. Because we really get to show why we're teaching, what we're teaching on all these things with guys having done it very recently. So 5, you get in this guy in the white jersey, you can't really see his number. He is number 5 though. He should be punching, extending, two-gapping it, right? So he can snatch off in either direction instead of just choosing the side. Yeah, he kicks the guy's ass, but now our returner's up the sideline. Our other setup for this is with a kick out and a lead. So, this is what our kickoff return scheme is, 2 kickouts with a lead up, and what we'll see a lot in our league. So this allows us to get reps at setting edges, and then our hitman fitting these things here as well. So I think finding ways to be able to drill all those different components of it is really important. And again, this allows us to find the matchups that we want so we can really thoroughly evaluate and get some good competition in with these guys, and make sure we have the right 11 guys out there. So here's an example of a win for kickoff return. Now, really nice job by 81. This second guy here on his kick out, right? hairline to chin, moving feet, tight hands, all that. Hitman doesn't fit it well, but again, really, really good teach film here. So appreciate your guys' attention through this thing. There's all my contact information, my cell phone, my email, my Twitter. Also, I run a special teams exclusive Twitter account at @talk_teams. So, we have a lot of cool stuff going on there. We have, all the Zoom clinics and a bunch of other good drill film and things of that nature. So please go ahead and, find that. And then, if you have any high GPA talented juniors at your place, or of any, please hit me up. We're obviously, working to put together a great class here for 2021. We're a building program. We offer a top 35 education nationally. So we're a really good spot if you have a outstanding student athlete. So, please let me know if that's the case. Appreciate the opportunity again, and go Cats.